Joining me now on Skype is Kevin Turley, UK correspondent for EWTN's National Catholic Register. Kevin, welcome back to the show. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
So just this past Monday, the British Prime Minister announced that he was ordering the closure of most retail stores and banning public gatherings of more than two people who don't live together in a stepped-up response to slow the spread of the virus. What's been the reaction there now that Boris Johnson has tested positive for COVID-19?
Well, the news of the Prime Minister testing positive has come at the end of a pretty dismal week. Today was the highest death rate within the UK. 181 people have died. We now have over 14,579 confirmed cases of COVID-19 and a total of 759 people dead as a result. So this news has come at the end of a bad week, and I would say at a slightly shocking week, given the pace of change which we have seen in the UK this week, not just in terms of public health, but also in the economy and society at large.
Yeah, and the Prime Minister isn't the only high-profile person in the UK to have contracted this virus. We did learn earlier this week that Prince Charles, the first in line for the throne, also has the virus.
That's correct, and when that was announced, there was some disquiet around that, because Prince Charles is only, as the Prime Minister as well, are only displaying mild symptoms of COVID-19, and there is a scarcity of tests, and a lot of people were suggesting that the tests should only really be used at this point for frontline workers in the health service. But saying that, it's probably not unexpected that the head of the heir to the throne and also the current Prime Minister should be tested.
Kevin, the pandemic, we know, also forced the closure of Britain's Parliament, too. What impact, if any, will this have on the operations of the government?
Well, it will have very little in the short term, because Parliament was about to go into recess anyway, I think in 2 weeks' time for Easter. So it just took an early break, essentially, for Easter. A lot of the emergency legislation was rushed through beforehand. There was a slightly eerie scene of a Parliament very sparsely populated with MPs, because they all had to sit at a distance and only a certain number could go in. So a lot of this legislation is extremely extensive in terms of the effect it has on people's lives, but understandably, perhaps in the current crisis, there's very little scrutiny of it. I have to say that most political parties, both of the left and the right, are united that this is a national emergency, this is a crisis, and it's not a time for party political point scoring.
Kevin, before we let you go, we also want to touch on this. We're just days away from the rededication of England as the dowry of Mary. How significant is that for the country's Catholics, especially given what the country is going through right now?
Well, before COVID-19, it was extremely significant. This is the rededication of England as Mary's dowry. The first time it happened was in 1381. And very interestingly, that came about because King Richard II was dealing with economic and political turmoil within England that was indirectly as a result of the bubonic plague. So this latest rededication now has not only a timeliness, but an urgency and a necessity, not just on a spiritual level, given the crisis that the country's in currently.
Well, Kevin, thank you so much for your time. We're praying for you all over there. Kevin Turley, UK correspondent for EWTN's National Catholic Register. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you very much, Tracy.